Yo, yo, yo. Yo, 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 yo. 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 Yo, 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 yo. Yo, my family got to hear me scream yo, yo, yo into the microphone. Turn Walter down, Dylan. Although he's doing a hell of a job, he picked a good one. He's vibing right now. Let me get my baby water in. Let Walter calm down. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday, and you know what that means. It is Tusk Talk Fridays. Hopefully another jam-packed one, some more information. Some of it may be redundant. Apologies, but this is where we're at, and I like to give a transparent view of everything. Some exciting things happened this week that I'm excited to talk about. Some of those things have to be a bit private until more information comes out. But I'll just say that I am extremely excited for Glacier, and some of the people I've been talking to are quite large, and you guys know I don't hype my products up. You guys know that, but it is really hard not to, because I'm just getting really excited. I feel like we're finally breaking through. I feel like we're finally breaking through on some of the fronts that I was getting early on for the balancer side that I was getting kind of gigged for, and I'm really happy with the progress on the back end for partnership acquisition. I think you guys are going to be excited for some of the early partnerships that we're able to announce that should be coming out quite soon for Glacier. And then, there's a lot of other things that'll be coming for Glacier that I just think I really think it's going to be a killer fucking dex on Avalanche. And I'll say it again, like I mostly say, is that Avalanche has this pit in it right now where there's no really lucrative spots to actually LP farm, and protocols know that. New protocols, old protocols that aren't on AVAX know that. And to be able to provide something that's long-standing with emissions, you look at Thena, Equalizer, Velodrome, look at all these token prices. They've done so well, and there's a reason for that. Now, obviously, there is some GameFi mechanics here, but the real yield aspect for protocols and users alike really drives this harmonious feeling for everyone involved that you're actually participating in governance, you're actually earning real fees, you're gaining real emissions, and it's this really cool decentralized method and to end centralized emissions, and for everybody to have a little fun and make some money and make Avalanche a little bit more popular, hopefully. So, yeah, that was my big word for the day. Wonderful destruction. It felt like it was the right thing to say at the time. I don't know that that's exactly what I meant, but you guys know at this point. Some of the ways that I talk isn't normal. So hopefully everybody's having a good Friday. Man, can't wait. I can't wait to release some of this stuff and see where it develops into. And sometimes it leads up to disappointment, and not everything works out like you think it will. But it's hard not to be excited. I put so much time and effort into everything, and I want to see it blossom into something special for everybody that's involved and everybody that's been following me, that throws money behind me and puts their heart and soul into this stuff like I do. And so, like his first marriage. We're going to talk about Walrus Anglers Club a little bit today. Some exciting news on that, and I'm going to go through the details of what we had internally on discussions for why we ended the mint, and why I saw it, some goods and some bads, and how we'll do it in the future if we do reopen mints. Also, if you didn't know, which is pretty cool, because really these NFTs aren't made to trade. But we have like 10K volume on Walrus Anglers Club. I don't know if you guys knew that, but it's like 8 or 9, 10K, something like that, between NF Trade and Alpha Share, which is really cool. And honestly, they're all selling for everything that I've seen recently sold was selling for way over mint price. So it's really, I love seeing that. So definitely, if you want to get out, now's probably the time. You could probably get, 150 to 175 an NFT. But yeah, Walrus Anglers Club will go over that. Walrus and kind of what we're doing there and Walrus and again reiterating kind of how I see the ecosystem going forward, how it integrates with Glacier a little bit, and just answer some of the questions if you have any. So with Glacier development, let me tell you guys where we're at. Right now, we're waiting for development side of things to really pick up. Jumpman has been working relentlessly on the front end. And he's doing a great job. I just sent some early pictures of like the very first iteration. Many things will change on that. But just to show you guys that, we have the front end, we are working on it actively, and we just haven't connected to the testnet contracts. Once that happens, we're going to get Mark involved. Mark will start deploying new contracts from testnet to kind of mimic what we expect to see on launch as far as like the amount of, let me turn Walter down a little bit. The amount of Glacier tokens that we're going to be giving out, and really structure out kind of how it's going to go. And we still plan on launching by the end of February, if not earlier. We may wait until after launch to get a full audit, because Mark, again, worked at Certic for a year. I trust that he can verify. And we also have Vincent from Magic, who has found so many loopholes and so many dexes and so many other things, that we're going to have that tested by internal teams. And then wait for launch to get like a full audit. And we've actually seen other dexes do something very similar. Thena, in fact, is still working on getting their audit, and they use the same code base as we do. So I feel very comfortable that there won't be any large-scale bugs because we're not changing too much. No, Crypto Gamer, there won't be. It'll be straight to a swap page. I don't plan on having any landing page. I want people to be able to trade as soon as they type in glacierfi.com. Yeah. So, Glacier development side's looking good. We're working on getting all those assets ported over that were made for Glacier as a balancer fork. So we're having to do a little bit of customization on our end. But, we're moving forward really well. And really the next couple of weeks, and what's making it actually take longer, because honestly the development time is really not that immense as far as like how much time needs to be sunk into it. Because again, there's probably like 30% of contracts that Balancer has. Realistically, all it is right now is us gaining kind of notoriety in the space, and for bigger protocols to give us a chance and say, look, we're going to list and participate in governance. And honestly, the reception's been quite good, but we really need that one to come out. Now, we did have a recent discussion earlier this week, with a very big name on AVAX. Actually, that was yesterday. And I think it went really well. I think that we're going to get some marketing support from them. I think that we're going to see some of their liquidity get ported over. And I think we're going to see a large community get involved with governance. So I'm excited about that, but that is not the only one. That was just an AVAX native project that is currently on a couple different chains. And then we have another one that I have a meeting for on Monday, 2 meetings on Monday. But one of them is extremely big, and they aren't on AVAX in a high liquidity situation, but they want to bridge over to AVAX. So that is a very good thing for us, because it's between us and Joe, obviously, between the two of where they want to host their initial liquidity or some of their new liquidity that they're going to try and port over. And I think that I can make a really good case as to why it would be a much better object to use Glacier as their main DEX to host some of that liquidity. So the good thing about these DEXs, and I was telling Dylan this earlier, is it's such an easy sell to big protocols, because not only are we giving you some free V Glacier to participate in boosting your own protocol, but by us giving away free tokens, essentially free tokens, we're gaining large amounts of user acquisition that want to use the protocol in the correct way, and boost their own protocol and LP. So it's a very easy sell. We're not really asking a lot from those people, just the trust and understanding that we can execute on the vision that we have and the product that we're developing. And that's an easy sell all day for me. I always tell people, and I've been told that I can sell sand in the desert, and I don't think that's the case because I'm sometimes too honest or embellished, or I don't embellish enough. So I still think it's a really easy sell. It kind of carries itself, which is the good thing about the deck. So Glacier's doing really good. I'm very happy with the developments of Glacier, and I think that's the majority of what I wanted to speak on Glacier. I think that's it. But the last thing is that likely what we see is that there is going to be some protocol distribution to Frozen Walrus Treasury, being V Glacier. I'll be taking it in V Glacier for the protocol. I'll be boosting with Frozen Walrus's Treasury V Glacier. I will be boosting week over week the Frozen Walrus pair. That pairing, I'll distribute it between the 3 or 4 different pairings that we have. I'll be distributing that back. Initially, we'll be gaining some in the Treasury, but I will find a disbursement plan for holding our ecosystem tokens where I give that yield back to users. And if we get to a point where we're like, stop boosting Frozen Walrus ecosystem tokens, actually boost other things that we can make more trade fees on, cool. Another thing with Glacier is that, I like to think outside the box and how we're going to progress forward, not just pre-launch, but post-launch, and be a viable DEX long-term. I was getting with Dylan about community events, and talking about some of the things that we can do a little bit different. I think one of the biggest things that we can do is start incentivizing trading competitions week over week, because really, if you have volume on the chain, if you have volume on the DEX, everybody's winning. The users are winning because they're getting cheaper swap fees and lower spreads, and then everybody in the protocol is winning because people are trading on the platform. So that's an easy sell, and I think incentivizing people to do trade competitions and seeing how much they make off the platform via trades is a really good mechanic. Trading Bitcoins, it would be like an AVAX where you bought and sold AVAX over the course of a week, and then whoever made the most off of that pair from buying and selling would then receive the tiered rewards. So I think that would be a really cool thing. I've seen it work in other types of protocols, but I've never seen it done in a DEX per se. And I think that it is a really good mechanic here because, again, the trade fees go back to the users and make the entire protocol, it rises the entire tide. So that's a pretty cool thing. So we're thinking of some other things post-launch. Of course, we have our liquidity bootstrapping event where we'll do random snapshots for the first 4 weeks, once a week. Where if you're in some of these pools, we have like 10 listed. We'll be giving out V Glacier that's locked for 2 years. We'll be giving out actually like 30 million V Glacier over the first 4 weeks to users that host their initial liquidity on this platform. So that's one of the ways that we're going to get some early liquidity and try and zap it up from the actual market on AVAX, and try and get people engaged with the protocol. And I think that'll be very impactful for early days. And another thing is we got to get people committed to making Glacier LP because we won't have a lot at the start. And so the token is going to be quite volatile. But I think that we're actually launching at a very undervalued price. We're launching at a 3-cent price tag with 150 million tokens. That puts us at about a 4.5 million market cap. I actually think that's quite low, which is what I wanted. I wanted it to be an undervalued token so that there's engagement and flywheel effects can take place because people that want to buy in can buy in early and still feel like I'm getting a bargain because this is still $4.5 million dollar token, and I think that the team and the protocol itself can rise much higher. So I think that's it for Glacier. I think that's the big news. There's going to be plenty more. We're still looking for a CMO position. All the tweets that you've been seeing, well, the mild amount of tweets that you've been seeing, of course, is me. I'm trying to think of engaging tweets for the large scale of AVAX instead of just localized to kind of who sees us normally. It's difficult for me because I'm not a Twitter expert. I can only do so much, but I think we're doing pretty good. Especially after we get some partnership announcements next week. I think we'll be in a better position. How will the Glacier coin be launched if it's not a pre-sale? I'm asking this because of the security legal stuff. So we're just going to be launching it. We're going to put a little bit of initial liquidity, and then the rest is going to be up to the market. There'll be some in the LP, but the main distribution will be done via airdrops, and most of that will actually be in V Glacier. Of course, there will be in and out of different things, but there'll be inner workings that it's kind of weird to speak about it without like releasing the docs, because there's some intricacies there involved. But for the majority of it, we're going to be putting a small amount into LP, and let the market really decide what Glacier is and what Glacier price is. So let's see what else is there. That's all the news I have for Glacier right now. Walrus Anglers Club. So let's pivot gears, everybody. Pivot gears. We're now on Walrus Anglers Club. Genesis pool for Glacier. No Genesis pool. Liquidity bootstrapping pool is kind of like that, where you're getting Glacier for parking Glacier LP. So it's kind of like that, but there's no deposit fees or anything crazy like that. So Walrus Anglers Club, we had some internal debate. Me and Sean, apologies again. I just got really busy, and me and Sean weren't communicating as much as we could have been. But after looking at it for a little while, it was going to take a large amount of marketing to get where we need it to be. And I said, why spend protocol money on marketing when what we have right now just works? Like, the only thing that we do when we upscale is just add headache. If we don't have the user base and we're having to market to more people, it's like we're just leaving the mints open and really not having any volume come in. We're sitting here debating the intricacies of phase 1, phase 2 holders, and all of these things. And I'm not saying we can't sell out. Of course we can. I think it's a good product and it's very simple to understand. But why not just end it, have the exact same profit ratio for every NFT right now, show that to people, show you by you users that are already in phase 1 earning, and then reopen for a higher premium to get bigger miners and bigger operations later on. I think that's a much better sell. And you all as users don't have to stress about any big changes, because minting is over. If you want to buy, you have to buy in the secondary. So every one of your all's NFTs already went up in value, in my opinion, because you can't get it. So I think that, if we do reopen, we're going to have a strict marketing structure. We're going to have a strict amount of capital that we're going to raise. We're going to say, look, when we reopen, we're going to open up 1,000 Walrus Angler Club mints. We're going to sell them for $300 a piece. And this is exactly how many miners and what mining coin we're going to be going after. And then we're going to close it off again. And then once that happens, we may reopen again. But we have 10,000 NFTs. We don't have to do the entire capital raise all at once. Again, it just doesn't make sense. We're just causing larger headaches for ourselves and the marketing, and spending on marketing that we really don't need. You all know what this product is, and you all know that, Kadena is actually killing it right now. So I'm extremely excited that we've got these KA3s coming in. And it's going to start paying for itself. And I think that will be enough marketing that people are going to start saying, hey, look at what I'm making off of these. And then as the price goes up for these NFTs, as people start seeing and the dashboard gets developed and everything else, they really sell themselves, and we'll have a stronger user base as we launch into the next one. So that's why we held off on Walrus Anglers Club, and that's why we canceled the mint. Because, again, nothing changed for you all users, but everything changed for us as an internal team, not having to worry so much about the marketing side and being on Twitter and stuff, and trying to push a product that we really didn't need to push because we already had something working. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what they say. And if we do reopen, let me make this clear. If we do reopen, what we'll do is I'll say, look, this is how much capital we're trying to raise. I'll allow this many for phase 1 holders if you want the $100 price tag, because of course if I sell them for $200-$300 and I'm giving you all $100 off, we're not going to meet the numbers that we're going to mint. So I may open up like 250 out of the 1,000 or 2,000 or whatever else for OTCs for phase 1 holders, and then allow each person a minimum amount or a maximum amount, and then allow them to buy that so that you can still get the same effect and get a higher priced NFT for much cheaper, as my commitment to you all was. So don't worry, if you have a phase 1 holder, you will be getting the discount in the future if we do reopen. So don't worry about it. I promise I got you guys. We just got to make sure it works with the math that we're trying to do for the new miners. So yeah. So I think Walrus Anglers Club is going to do really well. We don't have a lot of overhead at all. The only thing that we're splitting is like the little team fund that we get from like 10% of the entire mining pool that we split amongst the team, which is me, Wonderful Destruction, and Sean. So it's, our overhead's quite minimal, and Wonderful Destruction overworks himself anyway. So we all kind of overwork ourselves. No joke. True. We will reopen. I'm 100% confident we'll reopen at another point. Damn, that's how it felt when I was working at FedEx. How's work going? It's great. Fucking crying on the inside. Yeah. So that's kind of where everything's been on that front. That came to a conclusion after me and Sean had talked for a little bit recently, last couple of days, and I just felt it in my heart that it was the right thing to do at the time. Because there was so much debate about phase 1 getting phase 2 pool and phase 2 taking no risk for phase 1, and I completely understood all the points that were being listed. And so I just wanted to make sure I addressed it in a way where it's like, we don't even have to fight over this hash rate anymore. Let's just combine it, stop the mint, and keep moving. No, he's not talking because I've always got too much shit to say, so he's just kind of staying in the back seat. Yeah, I never take a breath, guys. If there's one thing I can do, I can talk a room out. Nobody ever is going to have dead air while I'm aboard. Even on the podcast, there was like 3 hours and only probably like 5 seconds of dead air. It's one of my strong suits. Hold on, I'm going to take his jacket off. I took my daughter to her school dance. It was a little school dance. So that's why I'm kind of snazzy right now. I didn't want to.
Hi guys.
Dylan.
I can speak. I just haven't. He went straight into business mode. So
Yeah, we ain't fucking playing around out here. I gotta give the answers the people come for. I don't like wasting people's time, man. I feel like I gotta jam pack these AMAs because like some people leave halfway through. Oh, also the 5,000X Walrus. Sorry, I'm gonna call laziness on my part on that one. I will send those winners out. Don't worry. Dylan has them collected. I'm just being lazy. But you will get that. So let's get on to Frozen Walrus and kind of again reiterate what my thoughts are in my head of how I feel like the ecosystem will evolve in the short term. So obviously we're going to move our LP over for both Walrus Share, and Narwhal. Narwhal will get a new pairing of Glacier. Again, that won't be at launch because there's going to be too much shit going on, but it will eventually change to a Glacier pairing. And with that, we're really just going to let that gamify itself like a new Toon Fork almost, and allow people to host liquidity through there. And we're going to boost our pairs with the Frozen Walrus V Glacier that we get airdropped to us. And we'll continue accumulating Glacier through protocol-owned liquidity of Walrus and Walrus Share. So I think that, in the short term, how I see it play out is, we build liquidity on a new platform that is easier to incentivize deep liquidity. We stop Walrus Share emissions and give Walrus Share value in other ways. One of those being, of course, printing Narwhal very early on. And you guys know how fat the early prints are. And then in the long term, it's going to be a new format of ways to earn real revenue. And so the plan is to continue to build up a V Glacier position and use that as a real yield. Of course, we'll have 50 phase 1 NFTs that I'll be minting out, or phase 2 that I'll be minting out for the Frozen Walrus Treasury. And then we're going to use that revenue and not just build up the treasury, but also, giving it back to the holders. Because realistically, I know that the treasury is not going to make enough money to support anybody that's actually working there. I would rather drive volume to the tokens I pay the team in, which is Walrus Share. And I think stopping those emissions, I'll have to find another way to compensate, but we'll find ways. So if you're a mod, don't worry. I will find a way to keep you on board. Of course, you're going to be accepting Glacier as part of the team. But anyway, my mods are pretty dedicated people, and that's why I love them. But yeah, Frozen Walrus. Eventually, I don't want to incentivize too much Walrus pairing. I'd actually like it to stay low liquidity. And what I want to happen is that there's random spurts of heavy action on Walrus because maybe Kadena went up and Glacier's doing really well and we got a lot of money. So we either buy back Walrus and increase the price so that Walrus Share can now print Walrus. But most people would be buying Walrus to, of course, make X Walrus, because I think I'm going to make X Walrus the main way to get that revenue share. And if they do that, then of course Walrus is almost like this intermediary token, and X Walrus is continuing to demand more Walrus to get into. And so I think that's going to build this non-perverse incentive of you have to get into X Walrus if you really want real yield, and you're going to be burning more Walrus every single time. You're going to be incentivizing the lottery every single time, and it's going to grow immensely. Not to mention, we will eventually have an X Walrus detonator contract, so that you'll be able to gamify that a little bit. And I think that it'll make it really healthy in the long term. Of Walrus, where it'll have random spurts of like, let's let the price increase because we don't have enough liquidity. Now it's at like $2 because there's not even that much. Say there's only like, maybe 100,000 in existence, and we already have 100,000 protocol and liquidity. And now somebody bought in because they want to get into X Walrus because the real yield is really fat. And when they buy in, we're at $1.20. Now more Walrus is going to get printed. Well, now X Walrus is maybe 2 Walrus per X Walrus. And then the cycle starts again where we just burn more Walrus. And I think it's a really cool ecosystem that we can build out like that, where either we buy Walrus, give out real revenue to X Walrus and Walrus share stakers. We'll find something there. But I think we really have a lot of good things that we can do with these ecosystem tokens at no cost to you all as users, and only value adds. And I think that's realistically the play going forward. Is trying to continue to find real revenue, and continue to invest in Glacier, continue to build out this mining operation, and allow you all to yield off of them as holding these ecosystem tokens. No, as of right now, X Walrus will be on a USDC.E pairing as I have it planned. And again, that may not be right at launch. I'm pretty confident it will be, but I just wanted to stipulate that it may not be, in case like me and Owen talk about it. He's like, dude, we can't release X Walrus. And realistically, the thing is X Walrus may not be $1. It doesn't have to be $1. It doesn't have to be higher than Walrus, because it's giving real yield. So it doesn't really matter what the price is. It matters the conversion rate and how much Walrus is burning off, in my opinion, with this new incentive structure.
And Papa Suspenders on YouTube. Will X Walrus have utility after Glacier launch?
Yeah, again, it'll be the main revenue driver for the platform, in my opinion. I'll find ways to incentivize it through real yield, and allow you all as users to stake it for a farm. And you'll have where you can earn Glacier off of it, or you can earn real yield from Glacier platform that Frozen Walrus is involved in, some of the Cadena mining. Whatever it is, we'll eventually get real yield, and we'll continue building that out and scaling it out as big as we can. I would love to give, I don't know, like 50 to 60% APRs longevity-wise on the X Walrus pairing for a farm, driven by real yield.
And Vino Mystic, did someone say detonator as a service for X Walrus?
That's right. Vino knows. That's a big EMP maxi right there. And then Wolfpack said, when do we expect the rest of the KA3s? We're being told in 2 weeks. I have dry powder right now. Walrus, X Walrus, Walrus share, or wait for Glacier. I think that initially we are going to get a bit of a influx of cash on the protocols, just for people speculating. When Glacier gets close to launch, people are going to expect tokens to go up, of course. That doesn't mean they will, but there is going to be some speculation around our tokens whenever Glacier launches. And I think that Walrus will be subject to be in a really good position. Of course, you won't, the problem with X Walrus is it's going to start with really low liquidity. In fact, no liquidity at first. And people will have to figure out if they're going to add liquidity or not. And there's going to be tons of selling and buying. Some people are going to be like, I don't want to be an X Walrus anymore, and blah, blah, blah. And we won't have the full revenue system set up at launch. So X Walrus is going to be extremely volatile. But it's going to be part of the process of getting this to work out. So it's a speculation game. Walrus share is going to stop emissions. So I feel like it's a safe bet at $3.30. But you buy what you want. Yeah, man, it feels like a lot of things coming, and I'm sure there's going to be more roadblocks. I feel like my job has now been just a pivot machine. Oh, okay, I got smacked in the face going this direction. All right, let me turn the other way, and then get smacked in the face that way. And then, for 6 months, it's just been putting out fires. It's like a ship with like 50,000 pinholes, and I cover 2 pinholes, and then there's another 2 that pop up, and it's just, yeah, it feels like wonderful destruction is GIF there, man. It's just constant. But that's part of running a protocol. I'm excited, Glacier. I hope some of the people that used to be in Frozen Walrus will kind of show their faces again, and like be like, hey, I just invested in Glacier because they've been paying attention, but maybe not able to commit to, to all of our different AMAs and everything else. And I'm excited to have like a revamped community of people that are engaged and bring it back to Frozen Walrus and hope that stays, with the community. But I still think that we have one of the most engaged communities. I mean, we've been doing this for 39 weeks, and we still have almost 40 people listening to this AMA. That to me is, you're not going to find that in other people's, and what's crazy is I use this level of commitment for my community as a leverage point for partnerships. I say, look, I did this with no marketing, and look how many people still attend and still come and listen to my hillbilly ass.
Wait, is WShare just farm token now that Walrus emissions are to stop?
So Walrus emissions will always go on. If Walrus is $1, there will be more Walrus printed from Walrus share. Always. So you don't have to worry about that. There will be more Walrus printing. There will be more Walrus burned. There will be a higher, steeper price for X Walrus mints. But Walrus share will not be a farm token, in my opinion. It will be the structure of how you can, it'll be the main governance token of Frozen Walrus as we make bigger commitments and hopefully grow our treasury to a different size. And I was telling other people the other day, I hopped into an AMA with Mark from Sub-Zero, and, I said everything in this space, like, people are so forgetful, but everything, there's protocols that have literally went to almost zero and came back from the dead. And it just takes one pivot in the space and one right decision or one right timing of a decision, and everything sparks back up. And I think real yield is a good driver of that. I think that having an engaged community is a good driver of that. So people don't feel like they're being late, making sure that what we're developing is not first mover advantage or not too steep of a first mover advantage. I think that really helps keep the ecosystem fresh and new, so that new people coming in can be like, oh, I'm not missing out. I've came in at a good time and I can still, yield. So I think about those things a lot. I think sometimes. Yes, I believe so, JC. I'm going to try and make sure that Walrus Share has a structure where, value can only increase. Not price-wise, but like, just like in a valuation form, that it always holds value to holders. God, I drank 2 Red Bulls. Your woman brought me 2 Red Bulls. That was a bad idea.
Are you too?
Yeah, my heart's gonna stop.
Do we have any more questions?
That was 40 minutes? That felt longer than it was.
Well, 30.
Floor price of Walrus Anglers Club on NF Trade is 9.9, and on Alpha Share it's 25 AVAX. And AVAX is going up in price. Highest sales price is $197 on NF Trade, and I don't know what it doesn't show that on Alpha Share. I am going to get listed on NF Trade with a banner and a collection, just so people don't get scammed. And I will have some royalties involved. We don't have royalties in the contract, sadly, and Alpha Shares can't do it right now, but NF Trade can. I'm still going to tell you to go to Alpha Shares because I'm not too worried about the royalties. I mean, it's nice and all, but I still feel like Alpha Shares really helped us out, and I don't want to try and move people to another platform when they gave us so many benefits of minting off their own website and pushing us on a featured list. I usually stay pretty loyal, So even though NFT trade is kind of picking up its pace on trying to get partnerships on AVAX especially, I'll list there just so people don't get scammed. But I won't push people there like I push people to Alpha Share. Just to let you guys know.
Crypto Gamer wants to know, in the future, what will be the difference between minting X Walrus with Walrus and buying X Walrus with USDCE?
I think there's obviously going to be some correlation with the X Walrus mint price. And hopefully that arbitrage opportunity is what keeps X Walrus's value, especially whenever we have real yield opportunities. If X Walrus were to get dumped, people are like, it's cheaper to buy Walrus. It's cheaper to buy Walrus and make X Walrus than it is to buy X Walrus, or it's cheaper to buy X Walrus than it is to buy Walrus and mint X Walrus. So hopefully that comes into play and the ecosystem doesn't completely shut down. It may initially, but some of these things you just kind of have to let happen. I could sit here 1,000 ways to Sunday and be like, well, we don't want bots to do this, and we don't want whales to do this, and we don't want this to go to this price. And realistically, sometimes you just have to put shit out there. And, if it doesn't work, then we restructure and just make sure you keep your risk accordingly. X Walrus currently has 0 price tag. So, the hope is that the correlation between the mint price of Walrus to X Walrus will allow arbitrage opportunities to be a healthy rate between Walrus and X Walrus and keep the price of X Walrus at an appropriate value. Yeah, it would be really cool to see 20 AVAX. That's a $400 price tag, which is what they are technically on Alpha Share. How was the dance? It was a lot of little kids screaming. She's only in 4th grade, so. But yeah, there was kids with phones out and shit. That bothers me. My kids don't have phones. Even my 12-year-old doesn't have phones. I don't like kids with phones. JC, that was a smart big brain play. Actually. Like, no joke, it actually is. Yeah. So, I'll probably just bullshit for a little bit here. Oh, awesome. We got some more questions. If you have questions, of course, put them in the chat. Had to take a call, so y'all might have already covered. When are we 4x the Walrus to Walrus ratio? Again, that's something I have to change in the contract. I was just trying to get with Mark before I did it, but I haven't had any meetings with Mark recently, just because he also runs an entire business, and I haven't really pushed it. But I know how to do it. I just get nervous when I fuck with contracts, just because something can go inherently wrong, and then pointing fingers would be at me. And I don't like that. So I always try and verify a couple times before I do it. And it's also, but anyway, we're at 148%. You're going to see that number climb pretty high. I recommend anybody right now, if you want to really help the cause, is when I switch it over to move over to the X Walrus Magic Share Farm and let it do its work. Also, the partnership on Monday for Glacier is really cool. It's a product that I think everybody will use once Glacier launches. That will be a layer on top that allows you to, I won't say too much, but I think it'll be a really cool thing. And I think they're going to bring some user base over. And you're going to be able to do a lot of fun things with Glacier, a lot of hands-off things with Glacier if you're a farmer and you have a large bag and you just want to split it up on some AVAX ecosystem tokens and yield off of it. It'll be really good for you if that's a person, if you're the person I'm describing. Did you say when we expect the DEX to launch? Yes, the goal is by the end of February. And actually, that's one of the things we'll be doing this week is trying to get an actual deadline of when we plan on launching and get a hardcore date for everybody. But yeah, man, some of these people are, it's getting a hold of these people on meetings. Some of these bigger people is it's difficult coming from the space that we're in. What we have to essentially do as a what we want is a partnership. Essentially, we have to prove that one, we're not ruggers, which is very easy for me because I'm like, yeah, let's just get on a video call. And most of these guys won't even get on a video call with me. Some of the elites of DeFi won't get on a video call with me because they like their anonymity. And then of course, Mark has a pretty accredited history of working at Certic for a year. Launching over 1,000 custom smart contracts on Solidity. So our work kind of speaks for itself. Jumpman, of course, worked on many front ends. Me and Dylan have been building communities for a year. we have a pretty more credit than other people, definitely, that they've already gotten partnerships with some of these big guys. So I think it's an easy sell, but it's about what we say in the time and making sure that we say the right things and hit the right notes, which I think we're doing. And I'm shaping up my pitch and how I pitch, and me and Owen are restructuring it every time so that they know that this is essentially a value add and only a net positive for their protocol. Crypto Gamer, it's actually been over a year. January 15th was when I jumped full-time into DeFi. Or actually, no, it might be coming up. I jumped in full-time, and then I started trading a little bit, and then probably about a month later was when I discovered Snow and Fox. Yeah, that sounds about right. And I remember getting in when Snow share was 300, and then I sold it 600. That was my first big play, and I was like, holy crap. I told my fiance, I was like, oh my God, we're going to make it. And then I lost a bunch of money on some other shit. And then I got a mod position, and I was like, dude, they're paying me in Snow share, and I'm getting paid like crazy amounts. And of course, I held that bag the entire time, as I always do. Hell yeah, JC. That's what I want. We have a lot of people that want to farm big money. Just to let you guys know, there's a mercenary capital group, which I'm not too concerned with on Glacier. He moves about 20 to 30 million behind him with like 15 to 20 people. He's definitely very interested in me and Glacier. He knows I'm not going to rug. He's been following me for a year. He's looking to park his money on AVAX whenever it launches. And they're going to be there for a little while. So we should have some really good early TVL for swapping. So I'm very happy with that. And there's other people that follow me but don't say anything in the chats. But I think that we can really get some really good early TVO with some of the partnerships and user acquisition that we plan on. That would be the only thing that would honestly delay past February. If I was like, I think we can make more partnerships and be bigger success, I would delay at that point and allow those partnerships to get built and a relationship to form because that only helps you all, honestly. If we launch with less partnerships, doesn't mean we're less successful, but launching with more partnerships definitely guarantees more success. What else? You got any other questions? We're 50 minutes in, but I did start 10 minutes early, so. Ethical. I did post a picture of early, the early screenshot that Jumpman just kind of formulated real quick. That he just sent me. That was a front end fork of Solidly UI, which is what everybody uses. Man, we're close to 2 million Walrus going through the X Walrus contract. Almost 500,000 burned. Insane. Would be really cool to see that hit like 1 million one day. I think we'll easily double it, especially if I move up on the mint price. I think we could easily burn 1 million Walrus. If we burn 1 million Walrus, that's crazy. If you think about it, we had 1.6 million when everything hit the shit show. That would put us at around, under 1 million. And I think it would be easy to incentivize enough for that. Yeah, Walrus is going to be nutty, in my opinion, if it has some volatility and trade volume. There won't be a 0.1 or 0.01% fee. That's structured from the Solidly fork. No, it'll be 0.2% for volatile pairs and 0.01% or 0.02% for stablecoin pairs. You will get cheaper rates there if you're swapping stables. We're gonna try and partnership. We're gonna try partnerships with BoxSwap, Phoenix, or FireSwap, or whatever it's called. and a couple of the other aggregators, just to get them involved and whitelist our tokens as early as possible. Make sure they have our ABIs so that they can get us listed as early as possible, so people can start routing through us through aggregators, because I think we will be able to offer better rates than Trader Joe very early on. So that's just free volume for us. Yeah, I'd like to see if there was any FUD for Glacier. That'd be pretty cool. I haven't had FUD on me for quite some time. I think the last bit of FUD was from Brando. But I always welcome it. I will have Cloudflare on the business package day one. Athena just got DDoSed and ransomed. I don't want that to happen. So I will have Cloudflare set up. I already have it through our DNS. But I don't have the high-end package yet, but I will be getting it. So hopefully no DDoSes. Hey, Ron Glover, we're almost wrapping it up anyway, so I appreciate you spending some time with us, as always. Should be some Medium articles and some more tweets coming out. If you are, get involved and tweet and share those. It helps a shit ton. It's free marketing from the community we already have built. So definitely get involved and share the Medium articles on your own Twitter. All we need is one extra person to see it. That's your goal. That's it. Like, as you as a person, what can you do? You can make one other person know about Glacier than you already did. That's it. That's all I want from you. I don't ask a lot, but that's it. Tell your friends, or tell people that you've met in DeFi. Tell groups that you're in that are looking for alpha. Tell them about Glacier, and tell them that there's a lucrative opportunity to yield off of it and to be involved in the governance, and that's really all I can ask of you. And I think that would drive a lot more success than paying for marketing. Realistically, partnerships are our marketing here. We're not going to leverage a bunch of videos like previously in DeFi that we've seen. Of course, I do want some coverage. I do want some initial videos, but I probably won't be spending a large budget on it because I think that word of mouth speaks very loud. And it's always been more impactful in my experience, especially look at what we've built here. And this was with 0 videos. I can't say 0 because we did have an AMA with Dowking. But yeah, I still feel like word of mouth and DeFi it always makes the person that's coming in feel like they found a gem. Whereas if they heard about it from marketing, they're going to be like, oh, this is going to pump and then dump. So in my opinion, it's more ethical and looks better. Now, if people want to cover us, of course, that's great.
JC wants to know, can we purchase Glacier or V Glacier before launch?
Of course, we did our small VC rounding, which is like 5 people. We raised about 100K. Now, most of those people will be 100% in V Glacier from day one, but that's kind of their choice. They're getting a small premium on their tokens, but nothing that would destroy the ecosystem or anything that people would have to be concerned with. And the people that I have involved are people that I trust intimately. Yeah, of course, JC, if you are interested, we can talk about it on the back end. Always more funding for us is better. But I will be very transparent to say that I don't need any more money. So it's okay if you don't invest. But I am letting people that are in this community currently that I do trust, similar to yourself, JC, I am letting people purchase some Glacier early on. But I don't want to do a big pre-sale, and I want to know the people that I'm selling to. I don't want to offer it up to the community or anybody outside the community to purchase. I want to know that the people buying this Glacier know me, and they think there's a longevity and a future for Glacier, and they act accordingly in the ecosystem. Thank you, Wolfpack, for being here. You all, in most days, do more than me by chatting in this chat. I'll be honest. Some days I don't have much to do as far as like actual labor intense. And I'm so used to you have to understand since I graduated high school, I've been doing labor jobs, and, most of my time throughout the day was committed to doing labor intensive stuff. And so sometimes I feel like I'm being a lazy shit show when I'm sitting on the computer and I'm like, there's actually nothing left for me to do. And that's tough. That's tough to get over because I don't want to feel like I'm being lazy. But I'm making strides and making sure that I'm being very effective with my time when I do get to it, and I'm reaching out to people every day, and trying to make Glacier and Frozen Walrus the biggest success it can be. That's my job anyway. Vino, I do know you well enough, and I know that AJ knows you well enough. Of course, I saw you in the chat. If you want to discuss it, of course, reach out to me. I can let you know kind of what we've been doing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time. It's that time to tell you about how to be a better person. Because what's building a community if we're not trying to be better people? Then we're just DeFi investors looking for PvP at every opportunity. There it is right there. Proud, grateful grandmother. You see her, you might not have to walk her across the street. She looks like she's doing okay. Yeah, there is a minimum Wolfpack. I'm really not offering below 25K, just so people that are investing, I know, have the capital to make this risk. But yeah, so let's talk about it. Go to your local dog shelter, local homeless shelter, and volunteer. I wish I had one here where I live, but I don't. But there's always more that all of us can do to be better people. Be involved in your life, and don't let it pass by too fast, and engage outside of Discord with people. That would be nice. And of course, the most important thing I can give you guys before we end off here. If you see a grandma and she's struggling to walk across the street and you're in a car, make sure you don't hit her. But also, walk her across the street and, help somebody do something. You're at the grocery store and you've got an extra $50 you made in crypto, and somebody in front of you is struggling. I did that before. I've paid for the person behind me in the grocery store. I don't know if you guys ever done that, but man, right now, if you have the money, don't invest in my protocol. Invest in other people, because people need help right now. I'm in a very fortunate position. I'm definitely not made by any means, but I try and help where I can. But yeah, I think that you all should too, and I would say do that before you invest it in me or my protocols, and this should be like the very small percentage of your portfolio, and the rest should go to bettering your life and making better memories for yourself. That's what I try to tell my kids, man. If you think about it, life is literally just experiences and memories. And money helps with that, of course, but it's not needed. So make the most of it. Who knows? I could die at 30. Hopefully they make a shit coin of me if I die at 30, though. Dylan, I'm going to make sure I give you enough money in the wheel to start a shit coin of Lame Hillbilly.
I can do that.
Fucking send me to the moon, boys, and then dump me. Put me 6 feet. Put me 6 feet and let the chart look like it just dumped 6 feet. Blame Hillbilly, that's what we need. We need the Blame Hillbilly token. We can do the Blame Hillbilly token as a charity race to get me on my first plane. How about that? Kidding. Thank you, Nate. Thank you. I try. I definitely haven't always been a good person. Most people aren't, to be honest. Sometimes people have to try, but as you do it more, you kind of get practice, and then you learn that it's actually nice to be a good person. That's good, Papa. Yeah, some of us aren't in the position to be good and do good things, but you can do it for free too. There's ways of, you don't have to do it always financial. In my head, it's always financial, but realistically, it doesn't need to be. But yeah, we'll all do it. We'll make strides to be better people together. That's kind of what makes us different here. Is I don't sit up here and talk about my protocols for fucking 1 hour. Well, I don't only talk about my protocols for 1 hour.
That you could, 1 hour is pretty. That's easy for you.
Dylan can tell you, man. I was a piece of shit back in the day. I was a bad person.
I wouldn't say you were a piece of shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wasn't out here.
You had good
people
morals.
and
You were
trying
just,
to, yeah. I mean,
you're
I've always
just a
had good
little
morals.
astray from the. You kind of strayed from the path.
But yeah,
A little bit.
that was when I was young. But I mean, when I turned like 22, I became a dad, and that kind of set me straight for a lot of things. Put a lot of things in perspective. First time I met Lame Hillbilly, I thought he was sus. A 64-year-old grandpa does not use the word sus. Wonderful destruction. You've been caught. I know you're not 64 now.
He's 65. I was downplaying it.
Man, that's so fun to do, to embarrass your kids and say some shit that you know that you're not supposed to be saying. It's good, Crypto Gamer. I'm glad. You know, I came into this space knowing that was the niche to fill. And it was what I was good at, so I didn't really have to fake it. I think that's the best part about being a good person and actually having good intentions, is you really don't have to fake it. That's right, Nate. I think that's it, you know. I got the early benefit of knowing what it was like to not be a good person, and I got a snippet of that and was like, that's not me, and I corrected accordingly. Oh my God.
Oh, Hard Rock ain't looking good.
Dude, I remember that so intimately, that Protocols like actually had like channels set up to pay for his cameos. They were like, you have to get this. It's like first things first. Like, we have to get Nick on a is that his name, Nick, I think?
Yeah, Hard Rock Nick.
Yeah, we have to get him on a video, on a cameo, because it's like step one. That's so funny. That's such a bull market bullshit. Like, people actually thought that was a lucrative thing to use for marketing. Like that. Think about that. That's what we're missing out on. And if you get out of this space early, like, that was a good investment for treasuries that people got behind. That's how much money moves in this space. It's hilarious to think about.
Dude is just wild looking.
I know, man.
He don't even look real.
It's his eyebrows, dude. I don't know if they're fake or like what's the situation with that, but he's goofy. Man, it's a fun one, guys. We didn't have a lot of questions, but it was good to get some information out. Good to get a bunch of information out and see what you guys are up to. And man, we got a lot of stuff coming. I know it feels like it's so far away, but it's really not. You know, it's really not too far away. And even for me, it feels like, you know, I've been climbing and climbing and climbing, and I feel like Mario in the old arcade system where there's barrels getting thrown constantly. Me and Dylan are on our last life.
We are.
And we're going for the high score list. But
I'm ready.
I don't give up too easily. If nothing else, if I get kicked out of the space, at least they know that I didn't give up too easily. They're going to have
Just
to...
here to feed my cat.
That's right. Just to live another day, that's it. That's all we want. There's nothing comfortable about not... Let me tell you guys, if you think about, man, I could go crypto full time. There's nothing comfortable about this.
Yeah.
Like, sure, I work a little bit less and I get to see my family more, but man, shit gets tough. You know, I haven't had a paycheck or any kind of income for 7 months. And, you know, that wears on you. Especially when you're on you know, you have a family and stuff, and by no means should you feel sorry for me. But
No.
It's nice to be open about that and transparent that, you know, shit's always sweeter when you look on the outside. And there's so many great things about this space. I love it to death. Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's stressful to have that many people, and you know, my family depends on me, and you all depend on me to make the right moves, and it does get stressful, but it shapes you into a better man, in my opinion. If you learn how to deal with that appropriately, you know. Shouts out to Minnesota Richard, though. When we were talking, I see him typing in the chat, but You know, he was like, "Listen, man, I know even if Glacier doesn't make it, like your next one might, or the next one, like eventually you will hit a home run." He said, you know, your work ethic and everything that you do is too good, and I appreciate that. It means a lot. It makes me have perspective. That not everything I launch has to be 100% premium every time. That's Frank. That's Frank, the dog.
Frank Tank. Franklin. Frankie D. Bonza.
I have a dog
get a
too.
toy.
He just doesn't come down here. His name is Calvin. I think I've showed you guys Calvin. I rescued him the day he was going to get put down, which is a pretty cool fact that makes me look better than I am. Oh, Top Gun.
I was so drunk that night. I really thought I was helping my friend out. I didn't even notice the wallet address. I can't remember what I sent him. I think it was like $15 in fucking AVAX to the 99. And he felt so bad too. He's like, "Man, I'll give you the money back." And of course, you know, me being drunk, I was like, "No, man, it's no big deal. Fuck it." Okay, and it's not, but cracked me up. Wait, Austin, did you die?
I'm reading some of my DM. Sorry, I'm kind of distracted now. I think I should probably end it so I can respond to people appropriately. We went an hour. Again, you guys know I have to say it every stream that I genuinely appreciate your time and your investments and faith and I just have a true appreciation for you all. And I wish I could give back more, and I certainly will when the time comes and the tides shift. But until then, I do appreciate your commitment and how good you make this community feel and being involved and engaged. I appreciate it and giving me this opportunity to come up here and talk to you all and you all listen. It's an awesome feeling, and so thank you guys, and I appreciate it. And I will talk to you next week with hopefully more information than this week. Even though we had a lot of information this week, I always like to give as much information as I can. So, with that being said, we'll end it here. Turn Walter up, jam him out. We'll end it, and we'll see you next week. Thank you guys for Tusk Talk 39. Next week is Tusk Talk 40, the big 40. Yes. So we'll see you then.
Oh shit. Walter, what are you doing? Where'd you go, buddy? Huh? I'm turning Walter back on, don't you guys worry. He left us. Oh no. Walter's mad as hell. Alright, Walter may not be coming back, guys. I'm sorry. You guys have a good night, though.